Welcome back, everybody, to Fruit Punch, episode 23. I'm Jack.
I'm cool.
And we have some fights to talk about. Weren't any UFC fights this weekend. There was some boxing, though. And
some other things.
Yeah, and some other things. Let's get to it, Cole. Let's start off with the most recent fights because we haven't done an episode in 2 weeks. Caitlin Vieira defeated Miesha Tate via unanimous decision. I told you, Cole, I thought this was bad matchmaking on the UFC's part because, like, Vieira is really good, and they obviously wanted Tate to win, and Vieira was, like, coming off a loss. So it was, like, really, like, if Tate had won, people wouldn't have even given her the credit she deserved. It was really a lose-lose situation, and, you should have just given her the Holly Holm rematch because that's a big fight as it is, or just given her, like, Raquel Pennington maybe, a rematch in that. Like, that would have been great. So that was a fuck-up on their part.
Yeah, I completely agree. The thing is, like, Tate's only weapon to use against Vieira is her wrestling because her, like, Vieira's striking is just better. And Tate can't out wrestle someone who's that big. Like, Vieira's huge. Like, in the cage, that was crazy. Bad matchmaking. Tate seems to be in good spirits, so I'm sure she'll be back soon.
It was a close fight.
Yeah, but I guess everyone was hoping that Tate would be a good match for Amanda again, but that doesn't seem to be the case. The main event was a bit more entertaining.
The main event was a bit more entertaining.
The actual main event. Sean Brady versus Michael Chiesa. Yeah.
To be honest, I was kind of disappointed.
Oh, why? Because Chiesa lost?
Yes, and I didn't see the third round. I was out. I was streaming it. Sorry, Dana. It was free anyways.
I had Vieira by decision, and I had Brady by decision.
Brady by decision must have been like what, plus 300?
Something like that. I don't want to go waste time checking.
Well,
I'll let you know when I'm doing the bets.
Well, Sean Brady looked really good to out-grapple a guy like Chiesa. But Chiesa had his moments too. I didn't see the third round, but on Verdict MMA, shout out to them. It looks like Chiesa won the third round. So competitive fight, 29-28 on all scorecards. And Sean Brady calling out the winner of Wonderboy versus Bilal Muhammad. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Yeah, see, that fight I would not like to see. I do think Thompson's going to make easy work out of Bilal. I just think Bilal, great wrestler, decent striker, but he doesn't have like power that you're afraid of, like you are against Tyron or Gilbert, something like that, right? But Bilal's wrestling isn't intimidating enough to stop like Wonderboy. He went 2 out of 8 in his last fight for takedowns. He got 1 takedown against Damian Maia.
Yeah,
or none. He's just not. He's not the same caliber as other wrestlers that Thompson's faced.
Damian, I don't think.
No,
I don't think he did. I think he just kept on this. Listen, Bilal could definitely win. It'll show us where Wonderboy is if he's still there. I believe he is. I think he looked off in the Gilbert fight, and he still had his moments. Won the second round, rocked him in the third, knocked him down. But yeah, if Wonderboy's takedown defense holds up, he should get the job done. But Bilal's tough to finish. I believe he's only been finished once, and it was by Vicente Luque. That was a long time ago.
Well, we aren't looking for a finish anyway. I mean, we're hoping for it, but
if Wonderboy gets the finish, he can make it. He could be like, "Hey, Usman, nobody's fought you yet. Let's just." You froze.
You froze. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna see that. Even if Thompson knocks out Bilal, I think Khamzat, if he gets another win, will be skyrocketed up there much quicker than Thompson will be, just because of the way the UFC works. And honestly, now that Poirier also has an interest to move up after he fights Oliveira, so he can, if he wins, so he can avoid Gaethje.
He's not. Don't say that, guy. Poirier ain't scared of anyone. Okay,
I didn't say he was scared. I didn't say he's scared. Poirier knows that a fight against Gaethje is going to take off another 3 years minimum off of his life. He's already gotten a win against him. What's the point of fighting him again if he doesn't have to? I'm not saying he's scared. He's just smart.
Yeah. Well, let's focus on Oliveira first.
Speaking of which, I actually have him winning, so I shouldn't be, getting ahead of myself.
Anyways, okay. Want to talk about the boxing?
Let's talk about Triller first. Triller Triad. I actually think there's room for this. I think there's a market for it. It was cool to see that the UFC or the MMA fighters won against the boxers overall. Rampage Jackson's team takes the win against Shannon Briggs. The fight that interested me the most was probably Mike Perry's fight. I don't even know who he was fighting, but he got knocked down, Mike Perry, and then came back and won a split decision. Just seeing his face when he won, it was great. He made the most money he's ever made in his career, 250 grand. Like good for him. And then the Matt Mitrione fight was interesting. I actually had him winning. He was using some smart techniques like grabbing around the waist to grab the opposite wrist, like grabbing around their back to get the opposite wrist. It was a really smart move. But Dan Miragliotta was saying that it was legal, while Rampage Jackson was saying it was legal. So they're gonna have to figure that out. But I had Mitrione winning, and then last we had Frank Mir versus Pulev. Pulev's been in there with the best. He's fought Klitschko, he's fought Joshua. Yeah, he's lost, but those are his 2 losses. So to put Frank Mir against a boxer like that, yeah, I mean, it's not boxing, but it's close enough. Frank Mir's old. That was just a bad idea. He also went into the fight injured, apparently. I'm sure he did it for the paycheck because it was one of the highest of his career. If he won, he would have been in the millions. But it was sad to see him go out. Weird stoppage. Miragliotta, he was clearly out on his feet, and Dan was taking his good old time. Thank God for Pulev, who was being the nicest guy. He was just like he was like, I'm not going to keep hitting him.
Yeah. No, he was out. That was a good stoppage. Let's talk about the real boxing fight.
Yes. Kambosos Jr. Australia's very own. He's going to be big. He's close with Volkanovski too, and they're gonna train with one another. He made a joke about maybe moving to MMA one day and Volkanovski moving to boxing. But yeah, he just outclassed Teofimo Lopez. Good fight, but he clearly won. And then Teofimo comes out after saying he won the fight. It was embarrassing to watch, but
yeah, I lost respect for that. But yeah, Teofimo, what was he, a minus 1100 favorite? Like that was nuts.
Yeah.
I'm starting to follow boxing more and more because that division is stacked. Like in and around that weight, right? You got Garcia, you've got fucking Davis. Like it's crazy.
It's the 135s.
135. Is it 135?
Yeah, it's lightweight, but it's still 135.
Yeah, boxing's divisions are bizarre.
Yeah, but the thing is, look at the 135-pound fighters. They're killing it everywhere.
Yeah, crazy.
I'll credit Ariel for pointing this out, but I mean, they're fighting around the same time. They're killing it. Maybe the 2 best divisions in each respective sport.
Yeah, and how about fucking Bellator's 135-pound division is also awesome.
Yeah, it's Horiguchi Pettis also this weekend.
Yeah, also fucking what's his name? The guy who this kills me. Magomedov, great name. He lost his last fight, but yeah, amazing still. And then obviously Juan Archuleta. It's a good division. And the guy who beat Magomedov, I forget his name.
I don't know. Juan Archuleta a couple of years ago, I think, would have beaten Sergio, and I think it's not a coincidence that his teammate's TJ Dillashaw and that he's suddenly gotten worse.
Okay.
But anyway,
that's not fair. Let's talk about some news, Cole.
Let's. So first off, we already mentioned Brady wants Thompson Muhammad winner. Interesting fights. I think sadly, I'm afraid to say he probably beats both, but let's not get into that. Also,
wait, you think Brady beat Wonder Boy?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
He's probably the top 3 best wrestlers in the division.
Who do you put above him, Kobe and Kamaru?
I don't know. Maybe he's top 4 wrestlers in the division. I put Kobe, Kamaru, and Khamzat above him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Wonder Boy beats, but let's see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, John Kavanagh, speaking of Chimaev, offers Gunnar Nelson to fight him. I mean, kind of bizarre that you'd want your teammate to die.
Yeah, it's strange. The thing is, though, like, if they want him to still be able to compete in the division, like, he's going to need to be able to beat guys like that, even if Khamzat does become champion. Like, they have that much faith in their fighter, right? Gunnar's still great. He went to split decision with Leon. We all know who Leon is. He lost to Gilbert.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have lost to Santiago. It was all eye pokes, in my opinion. So I think he's still up there with the best. Yeah, he's getting older, and yeah, this is definitely a risky endeavor, but I'm down for it. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's like I shouldn't have said like Gunnar Nelson at one point like was one of the best, and he still can be. He's just very inactive and comes at just fought. So I don't know. If I'm Gunnar Nelson, I'm calling out maybe the guy comes at just beat Jing Liang Li.
Yeah, or Li Jingying.
Let's talk about Kamaru Usman saying that he fought Kobe Covington with a broken hands. I believe him.
On the Nelk Boys podcast or whatever, full
Yeah.
send. Yeah, I believe him. I guess it's not like he lost, so it's not like he's making excuses. But it would be nice coming from someone else. I don't know why I feel that way.
Yeah, I do too. Also, he made some claims, kind of ripped on George St. Pierre a little bit, and it's just kind of getting on my nerves. I think that Kobe fight, guys, that was close. We were there live. I wanted Kamaru to win. That was a close fight.
But Kobe would also be George's toughest fight, in my opinion.
I mean, I disagree. Maybe now because George is in his prime, most likely, but ever.
No, I mean in George's prime. The sport's evolving, so it's just
the sport's evolving. I guess. I think Matt Hughes still. I don't think you understand how good he was, and BJ Penn. They were both incredible in their primes, as was
But you can't count BJ Penn because he's smaller than George.
So count it.
As much. Gilbert Burns comes, who's great at striking, great at jiu-jitsu, comes out and says that Kamaru's striking is better than George's, and his wrestling too.
Kamaru's friend and a guy who lost to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't call.
Has Gilbert fought GSP?
No, but I'm sure he's maybe heard things. Who knows? Not saying I agree with it, but I'm also not saying I disagree with it.
Okay. Barboza versus Mitchell, UFC March 5th. Great fight. Bryce Mitchell finally getting back in there. Tough fight for him. I think Edson's actually probably going to win this one.
You think Edson's going to beat Bryce Mitchell?
I do. I hope Bryce wins. Actually, I like him.
I think Bryce it's his time. I think he's going to be champion one day. I think his strength is just too good. I think he takes Edson down and probably submits him.
Definitely possible. Real big fight coming up. Okay, I'm very excited for this. Ariel Helwani said this best. Sometimes there's fights in the UFC that, it's just such the obvious fight to make and the UFC won't make it. And it's so frustrating. But this was the obvious fight to make, and they did make it. So credit to them. Beneil Dariush, the number 3 ranked lightweight contender in the world, versus Islam Makhachev, the number 4 ranked lightweight contender in the world. It's a great fight stylistically. They're both at the top. It's got to be a title eliminator. And it also means that Gaethje's going to get the next title shot, rightfully so. So it's a win-win for everybody, in my opinion. And I'm excited for the fight itself on February 26th. It's going to be cool.
I feel bad for Dariush. Not that I'm counting him out. He's great. He's got, world-class jiu-jitsu. Grappling is up there too. And, he's a dog. He can take a shot. He can, throw a shot. I'm actually really curious to see this fight because I do think overall Islam's grappling is better than Dariush's. But Dariush uses more jiu-jitsu, which is not something that Makhachev is used to. And then on the feet, we don't really know who's better. Makhachev looks cleaner, but Dariush comes forward and lands big shots, and he can take a shot too. So I don't know. I feel like
power advantage.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are counting him out, but I think this is a good fight.
Me too. And the winner better get a title shot. Okay.
Yeah,
let's move on. Dan Hooker is cool. He says he wants to move down to featherweight. He did a trial test weight cut, and he did it. He got down to 146. I think it makes sense. He's lost 3 of his last 4. Yes, it was a short notice fight, his last one to Makhachev, but I don't really see him beating anyone in the top 5. I'm being 100% honest. Featherweights, he used to fight there. I think he should go back, and he called out the Korean Zombie. Why not?
Yeah, who else called out the Korean Zombie recently?
Arnold Allen. I think that's the fight to make. I just think Dan Hooker, it was a good call out by him. I think you can do Cole. I think you can maybe do Dan Hooker versus the winner of Giga Cater. Nah, I take that back. The winner, that works. There's a lot of fights. You can
Really
do
tough.
Yair.
I think they're going to do Yair.
Oh, Yair
Bryan.
beat Hooker already. Yair has a win over Hooker.
Yeah, they'll probably do Yair Bryan.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then you can do, I mean, if Zabit wants to come back, that's fun. They're both tall.
That'd be a good fight.
Besides that, maybe the winner of Josh Emmett versus Dan Ige.
I like that too. I like
or if he really wants to be cool, Dan Hooker, go fight Shane Burgos.
Yeah, there's a lot of good fights for Dan Hooker.
Yeah, featherweight stacked. Okay.
I love featherweight.
Yeah, some more fight announcements. So Sterling Yawn 2 planned for February or March. My personal prediction, I think it's going to happen on that first March pay-per-view on March 5th. Same card as Bryce Mitchell versus Edson Barboza. And I actually think it's going to be the main event. And I think Kobe Covington versus Jorge Masvidal is also going to be on that card. Just a prediction. And Rose versus Carla too.
Yeah. And there's also one last fight booking. Another bad one by the UFC, in my opinion, putting two rising prospects against one another, trying to take one of their O's. Just bad business. I don't know why they want to kill the stars so soon. Joel Alvarez versus Armin Sarukian. They're both really good fighters. Joel Alvarez stands out more to me just because of what he did to Thiago and what Islam didn't do to Thiago. Obviously Islam still got the win, but Joel Alvarez put on a different level performance, in my opinion. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this fight. I do have Joel Alvarez, but I can't count Armin Sarukian out because I think he's part Georgian or trains with the Georgians. And I mean, aside from Liana Juju, who's ruining the Georgians' record in the UFC, they're all insanely good. And she was released because, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, I think this is kind of UFC's way of saying to Joel Alvarez, because I know you think Joel, and he definitely does have a chance, but the odds have, I don't even want to try it. Armin, can I just say his first name?
It's Armin.
Armin, minus 350 favorite. So, yeah, I think this is saying, hey, Joel Alvarez, make weight or move to 170, because if you don't, we're going to give you this guy. And that's what they did. So that's probably the thought process. We already talked about this, but Calvin Kattar, Giga Chikadze confirmed goal first event of 2022, which is interesting because Calvin Kattar also opened the first event of 2021. Any thoughts on that? I mean, we'll obviously go into a deeper analysis once the fight comes around.
I wouldn't call myself a betting man, but put the house on Giga.
Yeah, I think Giga wins. I think that's the one guy in the top 5 Giga can take.
I mean, he's a world-class kickboxer. Kattar has boxing, arguably better boxing, but Giga has all the tools: kicks, elbows, punches, leg kicks, all of them. Plus, I think he's better on the ground too. He trains with the Georgians. I mean, I just talked about this. They're all insane. And on top of it, he is, I think, a blue belt in jiu-jitsu after only 6 years, and he's obsessed with jiu-jitsu.
He's only a blue belt?
Oh, sorry. I think he's a purple belt after 6 years, and he's obsessed with jiu-jitsu.
Isn't that normal, purple belt in 6 years?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I guess you have to do it on a daily basis for like. Hold on, I feel like I got my. Yeah, don't trust what I say. I don't even know if he has his purple belt.
No worries.
All I know is he's obsessed with jiu-jitsu and he's improving very quickly. That I can say.
That's amazing. So Gilbert Burns. I mean, there's a weird stalemate going on in the welterweight division. No one knows what's happening. Who's Chimaev going to fight? Burns, Luque. And if they weren't friends, Burns and Luque makes 100% sense. Like, it's the fight. It would make so much sense. But they are very good friends, way closer than Gilbert and Kamaru. And they're also both Brazilian. So they just go back and they said they'd only fight each other for Floyd Mayweather money. Or at least that's what Gilbert said. So I guess you got to do, I mean, Gilbert, in all respect, like he accepted the Wonder Boy fight. Did he make it boring and do illegal strikes? Yes. But he wanted to fight Chimaev, he wanted to fight Magny, but the UFC said they were both ranked too low. So I guess they're going to pair them two together, Magny and Chimaev, which leaves Gilbert with very little options because Wonderboy and Bilal are booked up. He won't fight Luque. I mean, Kobe is coming off that loss. You can do that fight. You can do the Masvidal fight. Edwards is getting the title shot. I think Gilbert, honestly, stay put. Wait to see who wins between Chimaev and Magny if that fight happens. Meanwhile, Vicente versus Nate Diaz, I can't think of a better fight. I think
I just think it's a terrible matchup.
For who?
For Nate Diaz. I just think he gets knocked out.
I disagree.
He's not a welterweight at all.
It's weird because he rocked Leon at welterweight. He
rocked Leon at welterweight because he went 5 rounds and caught him with one punch.
I'm not saying
he got destroyed for the rest of the fight. I'm
just saying, don't count Nate out.
And then he fought against Jorge, lost that too because and Jorge's not even. He's a welterweight, but he was initially lightweight, and then he fought Conor McGregor, who's not a welterweight. Like he shouldn't be fighting at the weight class against top 5 guys.
I agree, he should be at lightweight because I think he has a run at the title at lightweight. I think he has a path. I think Nate can beat Poirier and Oliveira. I genuinely believe that. Do I think he would? No, but I think he can.
No,
he can beat them both. To say he can't, I'm not saying he will. I'm saying he can. He has the ability to beat them both.
I'd want to see Max Holloway versus Nate Diaz 155.
That's a crazy fight. The fight to make
some money.
If Nate wants to go to 155, we all know Tony Ferguson versus him would be crazy.
I think Tony's done.
We'll see. Let's move on. There was obviously rumors. We talked about this, Jan Blachowicz versus Alexander Rakic, but it's now looking like there's a date, UFC March 26th. My question is this a fight night or a pay-per-view? Because that means, is it 3 rounds or 5 rounds? Because this year in 2021, March 27th, which is the same weekend, was a pay-per-view. They did 2 pay-per-views in March. And if they follow that same schedule, like they seem to be for the first 2 pay-per-views, like UFC 270 is on January 22nd, and UFC 257 was on January 23rd. Like they're following the schedule like it was last year. Like UFC 258 was on February 12th. UFC 271 is on February. No, that's not right. Whatever. My point is they're following the schedule. And if they do, that means it's a pay-per-view. So, 3 rounds, that changes everything.
You're right. I probably have Jan in 5 and Rakic in 3.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Blachowicz wins.
Yeah. Me too. I'd put money on him. Very off topic, but I'm so addicted to coffee. It actually makes me happier. Like I need coffee right now. But that's only because I know I have work to do after this. I'm with it for you guys right now, for all 10 of you. Smart boy, destroying the body while it's still young.
Yeah, I know.
Destroying the environment while I'm still young. You're doing both, so fuck you. Okay, so Woodley, he's targeting a return in July. He must need money badly, unless it's for pride. Unless that's why he's doing it, because he's like the guy that got beat by Jake Paul right now, and then who got a tattoo and didn't even get the second fight. He says he wants to do it in different. Like he's probably going to do one in Triad. He's probably going to do another boxing one. Probably going to do an MMA one. He says he wants to do it in different styles. So I'm excited to see it. Yeah. I'll always tune in for T Wood, but something about it is sad. Something about it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like a legend is kind of tarnishing his legacy because it wasn't long ago where people were arguing he was the greatest welterweight of all time. I never said that. Definitely had an argument for number 2. You're talking about a guy with wins over Robbie Lawler. Wonderboy shouldn't have happened. Damian Maia, Darren Till, Kelvin Gastelum, Carlos Condit, Dong Hyun Kim. The list goes on. Like he fucking Jay Heron, Josh Koscheck.
We don't need to go through the whole list.
Really unnecessary. So how do you enjoy coffee, Cole? Does it make you happy? Like seriously?
Yeah. It does. It really just uplift. Well, I think the problem is that
Okay.
once you have coffee, it does it, and then when you don't, you no longer have that. So you got to keep doing it. It's kind of like weed. Anyway,
Oh my god.
so Khamzat Chimaev, he's looking for an opponent, and he's looking in the wrong sections, the wrong aisles. Brock Lesnar, I think he's a little too big. DC,
Brock Lesnar would sit on him.
yeah, DC, I think he's a little too fat and a little too retired. Although, if he was persuaded to actually do it, he would win.
DC.
Yeah, if like he got in shape, he made
Even
weight.
now, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's a gold medal. Oh wait, is he a gold medalist? No, bronze medalist Olympian. But I mean, look how good John Jones is at wrestling. He just went up against this former bronze medalist and got dominated on the mats. So, I mean, and then last but not least, calls out the fucking GOAT, GSP.
Disrespectful calling out 3 retired men.
It's kind of smart. Like I guess he's just throwing throwing what's it called? See what sticks. What's that saying? Whatever. I understand where he's coming from because GSP does say that he wants to test himself against like the new generation to see if he still has it. Yeah, he'd probably be more likely to come fight for a title, but I could see a world where, GSP is most scared of Khamzat and just wants to prove to himself that he can still beat someone at that level. But I mean, it's not going to happen.
No, he's 40.
GSP?
He's not going to fight again. I think the only fight that could get him out of bed is Khabib.
That would be so nice, but it's just not happening.
Yeah, I know. They missed their opportunity there. It would have been the biggest fight ever. Yeah, this is really interesting, Cole. Quinton Rampage Jackson, former UFC light heavyweight champion, had a title defense. I mean, one of the best ever to do it, truly. Says he'd refuse the UFC Hall of Fame if they tried to induct him because he'd be like, well, fuck that. Give me a paycheck and honor me with a check. And I get it. But this is what's really interesting, Cole. It's not the MMA Hall of Fame. It's the UFC Hall of Fame. There is business to it. I mean, Rampage doesn't fight under the UFC banner right now. I don't think he's on the best terms with Dana and the company. So that might put a halt onto inducting him to the Hall of Fame, which really isn't fair because he is one of the greatest ever, top 30.
Yeah, it's stupid that there's a UFC Hall of Fame.
No, it makes sense. Like it should be MMA, but because like you're telling me Fedor is not going to be in it, like.
Yeah, like I don't know. I want there to be an MMA Hall of Fame, and I want it to matter. It's going to be tough for us to get to a point where that's the case, but fuck the UFC Hall of Fame. I don't even know who's in it. I don't really care.
I know it's big. I like it because, like, I don't know. It's just fun. There's only like at max like 3 inductees per year, and like it's like really tough to get in. So like I appreciate the prestige behind it.
Yeah, but if Rampage isn't in it at this point in his career, it's kind of bullshit.
Well, I think he will be eventually. It'd be ridiculous for him not to be.
I feel like he's a little too old to still be on the ballots.
No, like they just put Kevin Randleman in this year. He's dead. He's been dead for a while. Like it's unpredictable. It seems like there's a bit of a formula. It's like 2 years after you retire. Like Daniel Cormier will probably get inducted 2022.
All right. I'm not against it. But what I'm really excited for tomorrow, probably today by the time you guys are watching this, and Bryce Hall will be releasing his first mixtape. I mean, I don't know if I've ever actually cared about a fighter saying they're gonna release music or start rapping. But just because this is so uncalled for and just so out of character, at least from what we've been
I don't think it's out of character at all. I think it's so in character. Have you heard the guy talk? I'm surprised he took this long.
I really wanted to include a line somewhere in one of his songs.
No.
I wanted to say something about make a track about power drilling his sack, something like that,
Remember that?
That was the first I ever heard of Bryce Mitchell when he was fixing his surfboard or whatever and cut his balls and it was bleeding everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah. Try not to picture it. In other news,
one tough. Right?
Sorry?
He won tough, right?
Did he?
He was on top 27. I'm pretty sure he won.
Yeah, he must have. Isn't he undefeated?
Yeah, but they don't count as
they
real
don't count the
unless it's the finale.
No, but I'm pretty sure I've seen his shirt dog and it's a green all the way down.
I looked up who won season 27 of Tough. It goes Daniel Cormier.
Well, that's not right.
Yeah, the coach. He was coaching. Okay.
Well, technically, he did win then.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really like care about that. I mean, I guess the team Volkanovski beat Ortega. But like, do you win? Like, does the team with more wins win, or the team who just has the guy who wins the finale? Like, it's kind of.
You know, it'd be cool. They did like a special season where it was just like U.S. versus Britain, or like
On that.
Have they?
Yeah, they did. Uriah Faber and Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but they still drafted. They didn't have all American versus all European.
Europe versus USA.
They could only draft people.
I believe so. Yes. They've also done like cards like that, like US versus Canada, Britain versus.
I don't know if that's true because there were fighters that were from neither.
Who?
Oh, no. I'm Ryan Hall versus Sal Rogers. Sal Rogers is from the UK. Okay. Well, anyway, moving on. Sad news. We'll not say, we won't be the last thing we talk about, I promise, because I don't want to end on a sad note. But Kevin Lee, great fighter, very talented. Out of TriStar. Been in Montreal for the last while, putting in the work. Look what he did to Tony Ferguson back in the day. Mounted him, was maybe a second away from getting that win. Lost twice to the great Ali Aquinta. Sorry?
He mounted him?
Yeah, in like the first 30 seconds and was laying on ground and pound, top mount, and then Tony got out of it. But they could have stopped it. If it was any other fighter other than Tony, I think they would have stopped it.
Wow, I don't remember. I go watch.
Yeah, lost twice to the great Ali Aquinta, who's now considering retirement. I guess Kevin Lee's aging. I'm hoping he goes to Bellator, gets like a couple wins, and comes back. But they're talking about Eagle FC.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, sure. It's not really. I mean, I don't know much about Eagle FC, but what I do know is that Kevin Lee would be like the only name in that promotion, right?
Well, there's a lot of like Dagestani and Russian fighters that are really good.
Just not
Khabib's promotion.
No, it definitely has potential. The promotion, I think Kevin Lee should go to Bellator. I think,
and Khabib's got good connections. He's got a lot of money and a lot of connections with a lot of money, and Eagle FC's making their U.S. debut in Miami this year or next year, or something like that. So they could grow pretty quickly. And if Kevin Lee's a part of that, I mean, I'm sure he'll be grateful.
Yeah, he should be, because he would probably destroy everyone. Why don't we talk?
I don't know. It's again a lot of Dagestani wrestlers.
Some fights to talk about, Cole. I'm really excited for this weekend.
Well, that's great. But first, have you seen Jake versus Tommy's press conference?
Yes. I think
you watched it.
Yeah, Tommy Fury. Well, I watched a press conference. Am I talking about the right one?
Yes, the one where he's on TV.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Very strange. I just really fucking hope Tommy wins.
Jake's on the TV, right?
Yeah. I really hope Tommy wins because he's just a much better guy. The fact that his dad and brother were there at the press conference makes me feel a little more, I guess, confident in him, just because they're clearly a part of his camp, a part of his training. Probably making sure he's has his nose to the grindstone. It's really funny though, because Jake Paul just talks all that shit and Tommy doesn't like to, play that same game. He's just more straight up about it. He doesn't want to put on a whole performance. And so he was just kind of sitting there taking it. And then his dad just screams at Jake. He's tells him after you get knocked out, Tommy's going to bend your girl over. And
it's more like a dog.
Yeah.
It was like people said it was cringy. I don't know. I didn't find it cringy, and I think the reason this is gonna sound weird, I didn't find it cringy was because he did in the like because of his accent. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
just sounded funny. I mean, I
Yeah.
think people think it's cringy because it's so like cancel culture esque, like frowned upon. I don't think it was cringy because
Oh,
of the actual content. Like, I mean, yeah, like fucking go for it, Fury. What's his name?
Tommy,
No, 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 his dad,
Don.
John Fury. That's good. So I thought, yeah, fucking go for it. Tear him a new one.
Yeah.
All right, now for the fights this weekend.
Rob Font, Jose Aldo. We'll get to that obviously, but I just want to say this is one of the best free cards in a while. I
This
highly recommend you tune in.
Yeah, Brendan Schaub said it best. This one is a card for the hardcores. I'm foaming at the mouth, as Brendan would say. For the casuals, on the other hand, I
The
don't
main
think they
event's so
would.
good for the casuals. They know Aldo. Font's on the rise. It's a good main event for the casuals.
Yeah,
And
but I don't think they can appreciate it as much as we can
yeah,
for the
no, for sure.
entire
No.
card.
Can they ever? Can they ever?
No. All right, let's run through the main card.
Okay. So Brendan Allen, Chris Curtis.
Yeah, great fight. Chris Curtis just
Chris
coming
Curtis
off of his.
just fight.
Sorry.
Didn't he just fight? We watched him live.
Yeah,
Yeah. So interesting. He's gonna die.
yeah. Brendan Allen. The thing is, Chris Curtis, he got a beautiful knockout. He was losing that fight. Brendan Allen is no joke. He's dangerous everywhere. I think one loss to Sean Strickland, and I mean he's an animal. So I'm excited for this fight.
Yeah, me too. Brendan Allen's my pick, but I'm rooting for Chris Curtis.
I'll save my picks for after.
Okay, yeah. Then obviously we have Jimmy Crute, Jamal Hill. Interesting fight. I mean, very like I want to watch it. I don't know if it was the best matchmaking, but then again, they're both coming off losses. But they were also kind of the losses were fair and square. Like Crute's dead leg was because of a leg kick due to Smith, and uh, Hill's flopping arm was definitely because of Paul Craig's submission game. So it's not like it was flukes, but they were both odd losses.
Yeah, freakish losses.
Yeah, so I'm ready to see this. I think Jimmy Crute's going to pull it out, but not confident whatsoever.
Yeah, what do you need more? I guess an arm or a leg.
Yeah,
it's funny because this is a classic striker versus wrestler. Jamal Hill, beautiful boxing. Uses his range perfectly. Been complimented by John Jones, and then Jimmy Crute on the other hand, great ground game. Has submissions over over Paul Craig, who submitted Jamal Hill and broke his arm. So I think I always lean towards the wrestler in this situation. Also, you can kind of wrestle without a foot in a way. You can't really strike without an arm. So
you're going with Jimmy.
I'll save my picks for after.
Okay. Clay Guida versus Leonardo Santos, two guys that are a bit older. Man, I think Santos is so good. He was 1 second away from his last fight. He has a win over Kevin Lee. He what did he win? I don't think has he lost in the UFC like one fight, like before the one he just lost. It was crazy or something. But he fights like every 2 years. But yeah, I mean this one I'm excited for because it hasn't.
He's an old man.
Yeah, if he beats Clay Guida, I think he should start like fucking going. Okay, let's pull Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, I think this match was only made because of their age. I think Santos is like just way more skilled as a fighter than Clay. And I think Clay's just going to be a punching bag for 3 rounds. But
We'll see.
Who knows? I'll save my prediction.
I like Clay. I'd like to see him win, but I'm going to go with Santos. Okay, Brad Riddell versus Rafael Fiziev. I'm going with Brad Riddell. What a fucking fight. That is fight of the year written all over it. Bet that this one goes to decision. I know it's a favorite. It's favorite too, but they're both so tough. I don't see either one.
They're both so tough, but they both have insane volume and strength. They just don't stop.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have you seen the sparring footage?
Yes, I have.
It was pretty good stuff. I mean, To be
Yeah,
honest,
go check that out.
I think Fiziev's more flashy. Has maybe cleaner punches, but I think Riddell's more technical when it comes to footwork, distance.
He's more,
knowing.
Yeah, no, he's definitely more traditional. Riddell.
Yeah, no, he's a higher IQ. I just think Fiziev is cleaner.
Yes, I mean, look at the guy dodging kicks like it's the Matrix.
Yeah, against Mark Diakie's like fuck. Yeah, no, that's a great fight. That's probably what I'm looking forward to most, aside from the main event. I can't even decide which I'm more excited for.
I'm more excited for the main event just because of the implications. Because Jose Aldo, I mean, first of all, Cole, do you think the winner of this fight gets a title shot?
Yeah,
I don't. How? Okay, so this is my take. I think we're going to see Jan Sterling rematch, okay? The winner of that's the undisputed champion. The winner fights TJ. TJ's got the next fight. Meanwhile, you got Aldo and Font, obviously. I think the winner of this fight should fight Dominic Cruz if he beats Pedro Munoz. That's my thing.
And I disagree. I think TJ might be out for a good amount of time. I don't know what his timeline is, but honestly, if that Aljo Jan fight happens in March, yeah, he'd probably be ready to fight the winner. So I guess you're right. I guess TJ definitely has that next title shot, and it'll probably be against winner of Jan Aljo. And then I do think the winner of Font versus Aldo could wait if they wanted to. I don't know if they would though. I think they're probably going to end up fighting Sandhagen.
Ooh, but Sandhagen can go up there and fuck everything up.
He could. I think it's Sandhagen versus winner of Rob Font Aldo.
That's also possible. It's tough though because Sandhagen is coming off back-to-back losses. Then again, to Jan and Dillashaw, they were both close fights. Let's talk about the prelims, Cole. I just want to, before you go give your picks, I want to just say some fights that are, I think, obviously the featured one, Pitolo. Is that how you pronounce it?
Maki Pitolo, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Is Dusko Todorovic the one who lost to Moicano?
No, he lost recently to Kunal Soriano. I think he lost again after that too. Can't remember to who though.
Okay, and then also Manel Cap or Cape. I never
Cape.
know. But this fight is fucking, like, I think this guy's so talented, and he finally pulled the trigger in his last fight. I think he should have won both of his last fights, but he got robbed.
And Ode Osborne's no joke. Or Ode Osborne.
Is that the one he just beat?
Yeah.
He knocked him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah, I've got Cap or Cape, whatever. And then Jake Matthews is also a great fight. And Alex Morano versus Mickey Gall. I can't believe how low on that card that is. The fact that Luis Smoka and Vince Morales are opening this card shows you how good it is.
Yeah. But don't count Jeremiah Wells out.
Jeremiah Wells.
He's got Renzo Gracie black belt. I mean, yeah, it's, again, pretty good striker versus grappler matchup there. So let's get into the picks.
Go ahead.
Picks. I'm going up against fucking GC because that's Ariel's guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it safe this time so that I can beat out that motherfucker. No, I love him. He's a good guy. I don't know him, but like seems like a good guy. First off, I have to let my Bet365 app load because it's not being nice to me right now. It's loading. All right. We are good to go. First off, I want to give you guys some Bellator bets. Jack, who do you want to bet on Bellator? Who do you want to bet on Bellator?
We haven't done that yet. Who do I want or who do I have?
I'm going to bet on JJ Wilson at -250 against Alfie Davis. And I'm going to bet on Johnny Eblen -1000 against Colin Huckbody. I'm staying away from the Pettis Horiguchi fight.
Yeah, I'm going with. I like them both so much. I said for a long time that Horiguchi's underrated. I mean, I think he's one of the best bantamweights in the world. He was a flyweight. I'm gonna go with Pettis though. He's the underdog. Good value. He's been looking amazing.
That's fair. I'm just gonna stay away. Devin Haney He's boxing this weekend against Joseph Diaz. He's a big favorite, minus 700. Generally, the favorites in boxing win. When they don't, it's a big upset. Yeah, and seeing as there's a big upset this past weekend, I feel like the odds of that happening 2 weekends in a row are fairly low. Plus, Devin Haney's incredible. And then last but not least, our UFC bets. There are a lot of fights here that I think are super close. It's tough for me to choose Morano versus Gal. It's tough for me to choose Menifield versus Knight. Also, just it would be dumb if I did. Any one of them can land a shot that finishes the fight at any second. So it doesn't matter who is winning or who's better. Jake Matthews, again, he got submitted by Sean Brady, so I'm scared the same thing's going to happen against Jeremiah Wells. Claudio Parlays versus Chris Grutzmacher. They're both done really well recently. So the first fight I'm taking is Azamat Murzakanov at minus 200 versus Jared Vandera. Yeah, Azamat's undefeated. They're both wrestlers, so I think that would be a pretty easy fight for him. Again, Maki Pitolo versus Todorovic, too close in my opinion. Mallory Martin versus Cheyenne Vismus. I don't know what the fuck happened to her last name. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, I don't know.
Cheyenne Buys, married to JP Buys. Is she using her own last name now? Did they split?
Fuck, I don't know, man. Cheyenne. Fucking
all right. Cheyenne Vismus. Maybe it's like her holiday last name. I don't know. Vismus. Is that like a holiday? Then I'm taking Manel Cape, minus 225 against Zalgas Zumugulov. I don't know if I said that right. Brendan Allen, minus 350 against Chris Curtis.
Wait, what about... you already said you're taking Pitolo?
No, I said I'm staying away from that fight.
Oh, right.
Jimmy Crute.
Wait, sorry, you said you're taking Allen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy Crute, minus 188, good value against Jamal Hill. MMA math doesn't always work, but Jimmy Crute has beat Paul Craig, and Paul Craig has beat Jamal Hill. But you can, simplify it just by saying it's a grappler, Jimmy Crute, versus a striker, Jamal Hill. And I feel like most times it's the grappler that takes the win. Then we have Clay Guida versus Leonardo Santos. I think Clay Guida shouldn't be in the UFC. He's an old man. For an old man,
that's not fair. That's not fair at all. He beat Michael Johnson, then he had a very close fight.
I don't think Michael Johnson should be in the UFC.
That fucking Danish guy. What's his name?
Mark Madsen.
Yeah, it was a very close fight.
I know.
So he does deserve to be in the UFC.
Mark Madsen was kind of not very impressive in that fight, though, either. Anyway, I have Leonardo Santos at minus 188. He's just such a good fighter. And then we have our co-main and main event. It's so tough for me to pick Brad Riddell against Rafael Fiziev. I can say, though, confidently that it will go over 1.5 rounds. So for minus 400, throw that in. And last but not least, we have our Rob Font versus Jose Aldo.
I never said who I was going for. I'll go after you.
In which fight? The co-main or main?
The main event.
Well, here's the thing for me. In the main event, the last bet. Rob Font is so good. I don't think his groundwork is nearly as good as Jose's. But his striking, especially because of his strength and reach, could be a problem. But seeing Jose Aldo's last performance, maybe one of the best performances in recent UFC history, I'm pretty certain that Jose is going to take those first 3 rounds. I think because of his cardio, the last 2 rounds are still uncertain. And I think if Font knocks him out in those last 2 rounds, obviously, he takes the win. That's I think how it plays out. Either Rob Font knocks him out late or Jose Aldo wins by decision. So
I said Jose's the best fighter ever in the first 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jose Aldo's going to win.
Just by points, or?
Yeah, decision. Unanimous decision. Could be split.
I agree.
And that would be such a good turnaround for him after the Jan fight. Cheeto, Munoz, Font. He'll be ranked top 3, most likely, at least top 4. Yeah.
It's so hard for me to bet on this fight. I do think Jose Aldo will win, and I'd probably take him via decision, and then put Font down on another parlay with everything else the exact same, winning by TKO.
Yeah. I agree.
So that gives you, I'm putting him in at Jose Aldo by decision plus 275. That brings the overall parlay value to plus 8,185. That's JJ Wilson. That's Johnny Eblin, Devin Haney, Azamat Murzakanov, Cheyenne Dismiss or buys, Manel Cape, Brendan Allen, Jimmy Crute, Leonardo Santos, Rafael Fiziev versus Brad Rell going over 1.5 rounds, and Jose Aldo by decision. For $10, that gets you 828.51. And if you switch out and make another parlay, instead of Jose Aldo by decision, you do Rob Font by TKO. That's at plus 240. Very similar value. Won't give you as much, but for $10, you'll get $751. So GC, Ariel, just for you this weekend. You're going down.
Perfect. Okay. Good episode, guys. We'll see you in the next one. We have 3 more events left this year. They're all great. Next week's going to be a big episode because it's going to be the 269 pre-show. Oliveira versus Poirier, Nunes versus Pena. Amazing.
And changes are coming over the break. You'll see an Instagram.
Yep.
You'll see some clips. You may even see some fighters.
Yeah, maybe some Canadian fighters. We'll see.
Well, let's not make any promises. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. Hope you guys are looking forward to this weekend's fights because we didn't have any last weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans.
Yes, and happy Hanukkah to all the Jews.
Yep, happy Hanukkah. Okay.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.